Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, today with the state of the game as of Alpha 3.0.1. So this was supposed to address a few major issues, such as the golf ball bugs, which actually do appear to be fixed now, for most people at least. But it still needs a lot of work. There are issues where you can't claim certain ships back with insurance claims after a ship's been lost or destroyed, though they are working on fixes for that. Account-bound items are being lost in the persistent universe, like ships and weapons. This will be fixed with the next database reset, which hopefully will be before 3.1, probably based on the amount of players that have issues with it, to be honest. If you lose a ship with a ground vehicle, you have to make sure that you claim the ground vehicle first, otherwise you'll lose it from your account until they do a reset as well. With moons, there seems to be a little bit of a procedural generation bug where some of the terrain doesn't line up properly, and you can kind of see like lines and grids of the generation more obviously. The headless man bug, which occurs sometimes when equipping a flight suit and then basically breaks your character, has been fixed for some people, but still seems to occur for others. Early into 3.0.1's release, quantum disruption was set stupidly high, again causing performance issues. Now, it looks like they're doing NPC spawning tests, and quantum disruption attacks do cause huge degradation to servers. If this happens regularly, it leads to terrible frame rates and crashes for everyone. In fact, I have been down to 10 or below frames once lots of people are on the server getting quantumly interdicted. But we do know that they can change that server side, and some servers seem to have problems with it constantly interdicting players and getting really low frame rates, and others it seems to happen much more rarely. So some form of stress test does seem to be occurring at the moment, which is why so many people are getting these massive frame dips. However, I've been on servers with 3.0.1 where I've had amazing performance, better than I've ever had before. Wreck ships no longer can be used in the persistent universe, as of this patch as well, but wreck weapons can, and it's a bit odd. If you lose them in the persistent universe, you lose them in Arena Commander 2 though, so obviously bug. It's the intention for wreck weapons and ships to not be used in the persistent universe, but only be used in Arena Commander. Reputations seem to persist now, though, enabling some better access to gameplay. Things that are still not in, though, logging persistence. It would be nice to be able to spawn in your ship when you logged out. I've only been able to spawn at Grimhex or Port Olisar. The ability to change weapons and equipment on your ships consistently and properly using the Vehicle Manager app needs to be in. Missiles, for me, are still hard to get a lock with and then fire. It's like the button only occasionally wants to work when I fire a locked missile, or try to fire a locked missile. Oddly, again, this seems to only be an issue in the persistent universe, the PU, and in Arena Commander, it works totally fine. I can keep on firing missiles. Pew, pew, pew. Sometimes ships get stuck on landing pads as well when you're trying to take off after you spawned them, though this happens less and less now, and cycling the power/engines on and off seems to work to actually break that issue. Admin officers, that the NPCs at outposts and those major stations, do become unresponsive quite often. So missions requiring them to be interacted with have currently been disabled. ECN missions as well will become uncompletable if they bug out. There are missions, however, where you can still complete that require you to pick up an item and then take it to an admin officer, and now you can just plonk it on the desk or anywhere behind it to complete that mission. Missions that I've previously had a lot of trouble with combat-wise are significantly more accessible and easier though. This is due to the big reduction in ship and shield health for NPCs. In fact, combat feels a lot better to me. I do fly gimbaled lock on the mouse and keyboard. Gimbals still have dead zone problems and IFCS kind of stabilization problems, and ESP is still not great, and together that creates an unholy trinity of quite crappy core combat at the moment, although, as I said, does feel slightly better. Lights on ships as well aren't really powerful enough to give you enough illumination in the dark, and this causes a lot of people to ram into planets and to not see stuff on planets. They're kind of quite weak. Again, this is actually being looked into by CIG. And ships do spawn now with their doors and items and the ability to become flight ready consistently now too, which is actually pretty good. And if I get onto a server with a low population or a server that's just spun up, I have great gameplay. There's so much more access to the missions that I haven't had before. The game feels a lot better than 3.0 does, but That said, after a while, or if you get constantly quantum interdicted, or the server degrades, it gets pretty bad. 3.0.1 is a patch that very much reminds you that you're in a test environment. Even with the live builds, they're still alpha tests. Overall, it's a mixed bag for me playability-wise of the current live build. The patch has fixed a lot of issues, but as I said, if the server's been spun up for a while, or you constantly get quantum interdicted, then it becomes pretty much unplayable. Fortunately, it is a server-side setting with that quantum interdiction, and it can and will be changed at some point. But it doesn't need to be turned off or disabled, it just needs to be to a standard, reasonable level again once they finish their stress tests. There has been a good lot of improvement though with certain areas, but there's a lot more to do still. That said, actually, Arena Commander is very playable again. I've been messing around in the Swarm modes and really enjoy it. And once they turn down or off quantum interdiction in the PEU, I suspect that will be very consistently playable too. So that is what I'm hoping for. Please tell me if you've got any particular other problems with the patch, or you've had some great success with it. If you think it's the best patch they've ever made, the worst one, or whatever, chuck it in the comments below. I'm relatively impressed with some of the fixes, but as I said, the fact that quantum interdiction can make the servers unplayable is pretty game-breaking. Yes, totally understand it's for stress testing, but I mean, give me some game to play. Come on, give me a break here. Tell me when you're doing these tests more regularly. Tell me and inform your communities that you're actually doing these kind of tests, because it's important. Or even if it's just something that you're changing later down the road, or you've identified issues, have a page that pops up on the patch launcher or whatever, giving me details of important notes on the patch, things that are going to be changing soon, things that have been identified, that sort of jazz, because it helps me with my bug fixing, it helps me with the issue council, and it helps me know what are the boundaries of play currently without getting as stressed or as annoyed or whatever. If you know that the quantum disruption's being tested and it can cause big server lockups or slowdowns on server, or it's been an identified issue, then it's much more understandable and gives the community a lot more kind of knowledge about what's going on with the game and everything. I'm ranting now, but you get my meaning. Every month we have a giveaway for February. It's for the luxury 890 jump, donated by our featured org, Synchronizers. They're an org that plan to encompass like all types of the gameplay that Star Citizen has to offer. That said, they do oppose piracy. They're seeking members to add to their mature family of both casual and more hardcore players alike, but there's no real other restrictions on membership other than that. Links below if you're interested in checking them out. They have an active Discord. They're active in Star Citizen now and have a Discord that you can join and chat to people with. All you need to do, however, to be in for a chance of winning the 890 jump is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my Star Citizen content during the month. Do you have any questions about the current state of the game, about Star Citizen or Squadron 42's development, gameplay mechanics, or suggestions for videos? Chuck them down below. I do love Star Citizen. It's very important to do these kind of state of the games occasionally. It's just a bit annoying about the server lockups at the moment. A special thank you to my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. If you're interested in becoming one of them, you can find the links to Patreon as well as everything else we've talked about down below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.